Man's Search for Meaning is one of the highest rated books on Goodreads, with a 4.36 rating with almost 400,000 readers. This gets a 5-star from me because this book is powerful enough to encourage readers to reassess their family values and spirituality. I'd recommend everyone reads it eventually, but like all war stories, it has the intensity and horror suited for adults. This book is incredibly short at 165 A5 pages, but it's set in 2 parts. The first is a gripping retelling of a psychiatrist's experience of the Nazi death camps, and the second part are his reflections on why he thinks some people survived and some didn't. It was first published in 1946, but it's undetectable from the writing style. It seems like it could be written modern day. I found a perfect second-hand copy. This is what this blue sticker is. This is the $1 sign, and I proceeded to fill it with notes. It's very quotable. I can't really spoil it because the author survives the Holocaust and is successful in his profession, given this book's acclaim. The New York Times say an enduring work of survival literature. In that way, Man's Search for Meaning is different from all other war stories, as from the very beginning you know it ends well, which is comforting. The point is not that he survived, but his astute observations for why he thinks he survived. While a good degree of it was chance, not all of it was chance, and that is entirely the selling point of this book and what makes its wide acclaim entirely justifiable. If this book had a good blurb, it's more of a biography, I think it would be this quote from the foreword. On page 10, forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing, your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. This is essentially the crux of his survival theory. If there's any weakness to this book, it's the lack of accessibility of the second part, which is about half the book, to a general audience as it deals with psychiatry. Due to its concision and discussion of psychotherapy, it will be hard for some readers to pick up their theories, although in its defense, he makes it as accessible as possible. This is the easiest psychiatry gets, so if you don't like this, don't go near Freud, Jung, or the post-Freudians, as they are way more abstract and way less enjoyable to read, I guess. It's very similar to the nuanced psychological perspective of Primo Levi's If This Is a Man. However, it goes beyond that in the sense that it proposes a theory for mental well-being in these survival situations. Primo Levi's If This Is a Man is a lot more insular and introspective. Primo Levi was more concerned with the psychological alienation and the introspective reflections of being within a Nazi death camp, whereas Viktor Frankl more optimistically and extrovertedly reflects on if there was a rule for survival, what would it be? This book is also a lot less emotional and more analytical than Art Spiegelman's Mouse, which is a classic in the comics genre. This book is so good that I even quoted it in my PhD thesis. The summary of the theory in Man's Search for Meaning, called logotherapy, is that it is our ability to create and pursue meaning rather than the feeling of happiness itself, which makes us resilient to misfortune. In this way, this book suggests we prioritize our motivations rather than our feelings of satisfaction. As a Christian, I found it refreshing to find a psychiatric theory that pays homage to the ability of spiritual belief to be helpful to psychological well-being in trying times. This book is hands down a brilliant memoir, self-help resource, a book to maybe even prevent future atrocities. And it's a pioneering example of psychiatry put into practice. In this way, I think this book should be protected as a testament to the horrors of war and a method for its survival. So it's short, but there's not too much to say. Hopefully I convinced you. Go find it. Happy reading.